What's going on, Tim? Welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast. Hope we're all doing okay, as always. Thriving, enjoying life, kicking ass, having some fun through the Christmas period. Drinking too much, eating too much, but also working out hard as a motherfucker. You got to put those extra calories to some use, and hopefully get some gains over these next 3 to 4 weeks. You know what Christmas is like. It's the run up to Christmas, and then it's that period between Christmas Day and New Year's, and then it's New Year's, and then obviously New Year's Day you're hungover as a piece of shit. So yeah, it takes you a while to get the ball rolling. Just fucking enjoy it, guys. Like, obviously don't go OTT and wreck yourself or make any crazy bad decisions, but also enjoy yourself. It comes around once a year, so you might as well have fun. So I believe we're on episode 14. I believe. I'll have to double check, but we're gonna go with 14. And I thought I'd touch upon motivation. Different types of motivation. There's obviously extrinsic, which is you're motivated by external things, usually tangible, like a trophy, or you wanna, I don't know, gain a certain level of following on Instagram or whatever. Like it's an external thing, and also intrinsic. Intrinsic is usually an internal thing. It's not too hard. It's quite simple. It's whatever you say is on the tin. Intrinsic to me is the better one to chase for. Obviously, that's my opinion, and some people like that external thing to chase for, and they'll work hard during the week with their diet and their exercising, and they'll do it all for a pizza on a Friday night or a Saturday night, or a couple of beers on a Saturday night. And mate, trust me, I do that all the time. Like, pizza is one of my Achilles heel. I probably have a million of them. I'm Mancunian. I like a drink, but I try and limit myself to the weekends. I want to train on the Saturday morning, so Friday night's out. And it's like, right, well, let's enjoy ourselves on the Saturday, but we're gonna have to work hard for it, and that's fine. That's my extrinsic motivation. That pint of beer, well, one pint, yeah, please. That those few pints of beer, that one pizza, that whatever, that entire bag of family pack of M&Ms that I absolutely demolished last night, like the champion I am. That's the extrinsic motivation for me personally, but that's not what gets me through the day to day. The day to day gets me. The day to day is all focused on the intrinsic stuff, and the intrinsic stuff is the non-tangible. It's everything that's inside. It's a sense of pride. It's the ambition you have, the goals that you set inside your head, and that feeling you get of achievement. That's something that can't really be replicated in anything, really. We get the endorphins in the gym, that feel good hormone that's flowing around our body after we've trained, after we've worked out. Like, how many times have you trained and then you come out of the gym and you feel worse for it? Like, that is a massive sign of like overtraining or under recovering or whatever you want to call it. But most of the time, like on the vast majority of the cases, you'll come out feeling better, and that's because of the endorphins and the serotonin and all that's going around your body. So the intrinsic stuff, it's really, really important, in my opinion, because that is what gets you out of bed in the morning. I don't get out of bed at anywhere between 4 every morning for a pizza at the weekend or a few beers. Like, that's not a big enough motivation of me. The biggest motivation factor for me is the intrinsic stuff. Is the little goals that I have, the ambition that I have, the sort of standards that I keep myself to, and the discipline I keep myself to. That's all intrinsic motivation, and that's what keeps me going. Obviously you've got the difference between inspiration and motivation, and you kind of want to strive to be inspired, because then that gives a sense of longevity, and it's going to be prolonged over a certain period of time. And motivation, when motivation stops, sometimes people stop, and they get dependent on that motivation. And everyone likes listening to the hype up songs and the hype up speeches on on sports films or on YouTube and stuff. And then you know, 4:30 Monday morning comes around, your alarm clock goes off and it says, "Get out of bed, you motherfucker, go to the gym," and you're like, "Nah, I'll hit snooze." That's because you were motivated the night before on the Sunday night, just because you were guilty because you ate the bag of M&Ms. Who gives a shit if you ate a bag of M&Ms? Is that towards your goal? No. But did you make the choice to do it? Yes. So the only person you've got to blame is yourself. And I wouldn't even say blame yourself. Like, take 75 to like 95% of your week, and if all of that is going towards your goal and you enjoy yourself, you go out on a night out, you enjoy a fucking bag of M&Ms or you enjoy a pizza or a couple of beers, and that's like 5%, 25 to 5% of your week, who gives a flying monkeys? Like, you're already 3/4 of the way there. Like, we're human beings. We have to release. We have to let loose. We have to enjoy ourselves. And if we don't, then we'll go full circle. That's when we end up breaking. You know, we'll get way too stressed out mentally. You know, we'll start cheating on our diet. We start binge eating. We start binge drinking. Like, that's when it just gets real bad. So little and often, little pleasures, little and often, little rewards, little and often. So that's, you know, the combination between extrinsic and intrinsic. That extrinsic, that little night out on the weekend, and that intrinsic, you know, the determination, the discipline, the goals, the ambition, the drive, that is all personal to me and the stuff that I want to do. You know, it's not, at the end of the day, I'm not doing it for anyone else, and you're not doing it for anyone else, and the next person's not doing it for anyone else. You're doing it for yourselves, and I'm doing it for myself. I want to be able to look back when I'm like 85, 90, 95, whatever, like 35, and I want to be able to look back and think, you know what, you really fucking pushed hard there, mate, and you did really well. And all the things that you tried to hold yourself accountable for, like, most of them you did. Some of them you fucked up, but you're a human, and people fuck up, and that's fine. But you were disciplined enough to use that extrinsic motivation to drive your everyday, and over the course of, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80, 20, 10, 5 years, like, you've got so much further than you would have done if you would have just, you know, followed the status quo and worked for the man and fucking did this and did that. But no, you try to challenge that status quo. You try to break outside the box, break the mold, and carve your empire. You know, build your empire. Rome wasn't built in a day, and wasn't crushed in a day either. Everything starts off real small, and it goes from there. And that links kind of perfectly to a quote by Denzel Washington, that says, "Dreams are just dreams without goals." And it's so true. You need to take that motivation, that intrinsic motivation, whatever's going to drive you, or that extrinsic motivation, so whatever's going to drive you, and then you've got to break it down. So you go, all right, one of my really close mates, he wanted to lose 30 kilos in body weight. And once he's lost 30 kilos in body weight, I'm going to get him on this podcast. You can speak to him. But he wanted to lose 30 kilos in body weight. He's like 28 kilos lost, okay, already, which is fucking massive. 28 kilos off your body weight, that's insane. Anyway, he wanted to lose 30 kilos. And that is an extrinsic, you know, motivating factor. But for the intrinsic stuff, that's what he will get from it, from how he would feel having lost that weight, and how it comes back to him and how he thinks about it. So that's like the difference between something that is outside and something that is inside yourself. So the extrinsic and the intrinsic. And it also links to why we started. Everyone's got their own journey, and everyone starts for some reason, and you know, some form or another. We all start this fitness journey for whatever reason. You know, I started it for sport, and also so you don't get your head kicked in. Other people might start so they look a little bit better for a man or a woman, or they want a performance based, or they want to get a little bit more social, or they want to get a little bit more mobile. We all have those journeys and those places that we start, and it doesn't really matter which one it is, whether it's intrinsic or extrinsic motivation. As long as we start, it it doesn't really matter, and we're gonna end up working forwards and moving forwards than when we started. Yeah, another thing. So with the extrinsic motivation, once you gain whatever you wanted to gain and achieve whatever you wanted to achieve, what's next? Like obviously you can always go for, if you achieve like a bronze or a silver medal, you can always go for that gold. But you know we've heard and learned about Olympians being in a proper deep state of depression after they've won Olympic gold, and that's because they've reached that extrinsic motivation and they've reached that goal, and then it's what next. You know, Michael Phelps being literally the greatest Olympian of all time, winning 8 gold medals in a single Olympic Games in 2008 Beijing. He said he didn't get in a pool for about 2 years after that. Like he genuinely didn't want to swim, had no motivation. What's the point? Fell into a pretty tough place in his own mind, and that's because he achieved that external goal that he had, and internally he was kind of lost. So I believe that if you have that intrinsic drive or that intrinsic motivation, then that's going to stay. That's just the little things that will stay with you, and even when you do accomplish those big goals, which should be celebrated, of course, but even when you do accomplish those big goals, that intrinsic motivation and those tiny little things and how you live day to day is going to stay with you, and how you complete a tiny bit of work, or how you conduct yourself with strangers, and smiling, saying hello, opening the door. Those tiny little things will end up eventually feeding into how you play sport, feeding into how you work out, feeding into fucking how you do your job, or whatever. So I think for the long term, for sustainability, it's about trying to create some intrinsic motivation, and that's a good place to start if you are starting with this whole fitness journey. Just think, right, what do you want to do? What's gonna keep you going? What are you proud of yourself for? What do you wanna do for you that's gonna make you a little bit prouder for you? Instead of just saying, I want to bench press 100 kilos, or I want to get a gold medal. Like, those things come and go. You get injured, you might not be able to bench press 100 kilos. But if you said, I wanted to go in and I wanted to push as hard as I could, every session you're in the gym, and you did that for 5 sessions a week, then that's a good place to start, because you can be proud of yourself, and that can be sustained for a long period of time. It can be sustained for like 70 years if you wanted it, instead of just saying I want to hit 140 or 100 kilos on a bench press, and once you do that, what's next? Obviously, 101, 102, and until you stop. But eventually, you're gonna hit your max in your life. And if, say for example, it dips and you can never hit your previous PB, then you're never going to be satisfied with yourself. You're always going to be in the shadow of your previous self, and that's a pretty rough place to be. I know I've definitely experienced that in the past. I've been stronger in certain ways, not in every way, but I've been stronger in certain ways and been better at certain things, like especially in the pool. Like, I can get in a swimming pool now and I can be decent, but I'll never ever be as quick as I was as a kid. One, I'm a little bit older. Two, I'm a lot tighter. Three, I'm a lot heavier. And four, I don't train as much, not nearly as much. And then obviously with the rugby side, like, it's going to be completely different. But we all change, and it's being able to have perspective of where you are now and your goals now, and being able to create some sort of internal drive, so you're not dependent on anything. You want to try and be independent on this journey, then be independent. Because if you're dependent on anything, then as soon as that one thing goes, or those two things, 5 things go, then you're fucked. You're on your own. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of a chat about motivation, difference between extrinsic and intrinsic, and then just sparks a little thought of why you're why you're motivated and why you want to go to the gym and on your journey. Right, have a fucking good one. Enjoy your day. Take it easy.